Hey guys, welcome back to Open It and Play. This is Mike, and today we're going to be looking at the Order of the Crimson Moon Exterminator figure. This is another figure in this series from Big Bad Workshop, which uses Fresh Monkey Fiction technology for their figures, and these are inspired by the Red Shadows from the old Action Force series, sort of like the British version of G.I. Joe before G.I. Joe hit Britain. But the original Red Shadows were 3 3/4 inches tall, but these guys are 1/12 scale. So there's our infamous warning, 0 to 17 age warning. So be careful handling these guys. If you are eating, do not use these figures while you're eating. Do not play with these figures while you're eating, whatever you want to say. And don't bring these figures around any kids, because they probably have phthalates, probably have lead. They're just they have a disclaimer, they're not tested at all for these things, so any other hazardous or potentially harmful materials. So anyways, so this guy is the Exterminator in this series, and we're gonna almost immediately pop off his head if we can. I have opened this before, but we'll look at the accessories first. This guy comes with quite a few, so let's get to it. These, I think this guy was $38, $37, $36, something like that, but that was the pre-order price. The price has since gone up after the figures are released, so I think it's about $39.99 now. But let's take a look at these accessories up close. So we have some fire effects. They are cast in orange clear plastic, but it transitions to red nicely. We have 2 of those. I really hope that these are not mixed up with my other things, but I think that should be correct. So, okay, and then we have a little smoke effect. We've seen that before. And we have a longer fire effect that looks like this. My child did kind of unbox this for the original time, so some of the things may be a little bit mixed up, but I think this is what comes in the package, to the best of my knowledge. Okay, this guy also comes with, we've got these cords that will plug into his backpack. They're pretty nicely detailed. They have little tiny ridges. Don't know if you can hear that, but they are not rigid, sorry, they are ridged. Okay, and here is his jet backpack. Has the ports to plug in those cables. And then I think those will plug into this alternate head that we have here. And for the Red Shadow people, that is basically to make the red laser. Okay, and then we also have this stand that we've seen before, the Order of the Crimson Moon. Okay, a couple of pegs on that stand. Okay, we also have, God, I hope this is the right parts, a couple of knives. Okay, you would think they would be identical. They seem to be identical, though I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, seem to be identical. Okay. And then we have these little goodies. These are gonna go onto the forearm. So I'm actually gonna wait just a moment to show you those until we get the figure out. As far as hands go, here's some little bits of paint are peeling off, some black paint. For the hands, so he does come with a werewolf head straight out of the package, but as far as his hands, oh, I'm sorry, these are switched. He doesn't come with these in the package originally. Those should be his open palm werewolf hands, I think, which are here and which are not in focus. Okay, I'm going to show you those werewolf hands. Sorry, I think that he originally did have these on him. Okay. Or he originally had these on him, which are the trigger finger hands for the werewolves. Okay. They are nicely detailed. You do have to worry about the paint coming off, but these are vertically hinged, and these open palm ones are horizontally hinged. Okay. And let's get the figure out before I screw up more. This thing fits pretty loosely, so it keeps popping off on mine. You may have better luck with yours, but I think I have them plugged into the correct sides, but somehow it's a little bit loose and it keeps popping off on mine. So I'll try switch them to see if they stay any better. But so these are the little weapon ports, and these are supposed to mimic kind of like similar to what we saw on the Red Jackal version. The Red Jackal was their version of Destro, so it's kind of like Destro's little gauntlets. Before I do anything else, sorry, I got to get back to the hands. So he's got a fist right now, and he's got an open palm. But I'm sorry, that's not what he came... There it goes again. That's not what he came with out of the box. Out of the box, he did have those werewolf hands. But we'll see the other hands here. He does have another open palm and another fist to go with that. These are all horizontally hinged. Horizontal, 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 horizontal. Okay. And then his other hands are these trigger finger hands, which we've also seen before. These are vertically hinged. Okay, a little bit of paint chippage again. And the last set of hands are these gripping hands. So kind of a tighter grip, but with no trigger finger showing. Okay, these are both horizontally hinged. All right. Oh, there's a lot of paint chippage. They gotta clean up that stuff. That stuff is a mess, and it's already got the warning that it could be toxic. So, okay. Now let's take a look at the alternate choices for his hands. I'm sorry if these were not exactly presented this way when they originally come in the box. This is what you get as far as I know, but it has been kind of mixed up or sorted through. So these are some alternate choices for these holes in his gauntlets. So if you want, you can put on this little tiny pad. If it will focus. It really doesn't want to focus on this thing. It really doesn't want to focus. Okay, we'll get a better focus here. Okay, so this little tiny pad looks like this. If you can see any of the details on there, it's got the outline of a little screen probably, and a few buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe. Yeah, it should be 5, and then a couple little buttons at the front. I know it's really hard to see unless I get the reflection just perfect. Maybe you can see better now. Whoops, and it's flipping over. And then this ports into the arm. So I'll show you that real quick. It's gonna port in like this. Push. Okay. So then he's got this little gauntlet command thing. So, all right, and you can also put on the original piece that came with him, which is this one, and we can pop off the front of it, which has the little missile alignment, missile pack. God, I cannot get the lighting to show that. That's really hard to see, right? There, maybe you can see a little bit. So I'll pop that off, and we can put on this barrel. like a gun barrel. And these should port into either one, but I'm just gonna make sure I'm not putting the wrong one. Wow, those fit really tight. Okay, so that's what that looks like with that. It's a nice looking weapon, but holy cow, does it go in tight, very tight. And they're both really tight, so I think they're keyed the same way, should be. Okay, and then we also have this one, which is awesome, the little missiles firing. So you can key this in. How tight is this gonna be? Okay, not too bad. So this is to display this missile pack that we saw before, except as if it's firing its payload of missiles. So, and that looks really good. If we put that on there, maybe he doesn't put his hands out quite like that because he's gonna get barbecued chicken fingers. But anyways, so that's that. Let's change up his head. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I forgot to show. So he's got two of these barrels. He's got two of these little control panel screen thingies. Okay, and he has two of these missile parts that are not firing. And he also has one more here of the firing type. So firing type double, not firing part double, screen part double, and barrel part double. So anyways, you got options to make a match. And if we get this off, so that little guy, and he's got what appears to be an AK-47 or something adjacent to that. It's just cast in a total solid black plastic. I feel like it has paint, but I don't know if it really does. It may just be my hands are gross from paint chemical stuff that's on this guy. Gotta wash my hands after this. Okay, there's the other missiles firing. Missiles. Okay, here is the last accessory, which is the alternate head, which is what we need if we're gonna make him into the red laser. Mine has a scuff or a bit of paint that dripped on here, but mine actually has a little mark here. I think you can see it. It's not a shine, it's actually a mark of paint, I think. But really sucks that it landed right there. If I remove it, I'm probably gonna scratch or damage the faceplate. But anyways, that's the way mine comes. All right, and we'll pop this off. This is easy, but this part is more challenging. Okay, but I got it off. You can see the paint coming off on here. It's a shame that they have all these paint problems. Come on, Big Bad Toy Store, clean that stuff up before the next set of figures comes out. Let's hope they do something to make these more kid-friendly, environmentally friendly, and just safe all around. Okay, here's what he looks like with his alternate head on. It's kind of a big head, but it does make sense that it would be kind of big because this guy is wearing a big armored thing. So he's got to have a real head inside there. The eyes are quite large, but that could just be part of the mask. All right. Let's go through his articulation. I'll give you just a quick view of the aesthetic of the figure. He does stand out a little bit because of these armor pads. And this is not exactly how the red laser looks. The red laser should look like Cobra Commander's regular suited body, but they don't have the rights to that. So I thought about getting an extra Cobra Commander and trying to paint him and then put this head on. But I think this head might look a little bit oversized on him. So the red laser is the weapons expert for the Red Shadows. So that is who who we're talking about, basically, from my point of view. Red Laser, though he's called the Exterminator here. And the Red Laser was the character that came with the Laser Exterminator, interestingly enough. Probably named after that. By the way, before I do the articulation, I'm sure I'm going to forget, so I'm going to check his height measurement while I remember. He is standing at just about 6.5 inches. So 6.5 inches, 16.2, 16.3 centimeters, somewhere in there. All right. Okay, on to articulation. Sorry, guys. We'll get him in focus and get this locked. Okay. So his head is on the joints that you already saw. It's got good options for moving the head, except for the paint coming off. All right, he can look up like, whoa! He can look up like, that. Oh, sorry, his head's coming off. You can look up like that, but you can push it a little bit further if you play with the ball joint, though it is going to be coming off at that point. You can look down that much. He's got a whole lot of attitude because of the setup. He's got this overlay of plastic, and this one actually has these grenade piece that's keyed in here. It's quite cool looking. Uh-oh, I lost his other arm gauntlet part. Man, those things come off easily. Mine are kind of loose, so I might actually glue it once I choose something. Okay, his arms, you're going to be limited by these shoulder pad parts, but his arms will go up here, and he does have a bicep cut, but this thing has to rotate with it. Might get a little bit weak after a while, but he does have a butterfly joint inside there too, but that butterfly joint is going to be limited by the rubber overlay or the soft plastic overlay. His elbows are double jointed. They'll get you that far. That's nice. Okay, and then this was, like I said, horizontally hinged, and of course it'll swivel. And we can't forget he does have that gauntlet or glove swivel also. So great options for the posability. His diaphragm is unknown, diaphragm joint's unknown, but his waist joint we can mess around with easily, twist freely. It does have this part keyed to line up with this, but it's pretty flexible. You can move it around pretty easily. Okay, his legs will go out to the side all the way. He does have drop down hips. He can kick up very well because of his drop down hips, though you may have to rotate some parts to make it look natural. He's got a thigh cut that moves around pretty buttery smooth compared to some of them. His double jointed knees are pinless, and they'll get you back that far. And then we do have the boot rotation, boot cut. His legs will go back that far and forward that far, and he does have ankle pivot. Okay. And here are the places where his knives are supposed to go. So one knife in here. Oops, and I just lost his knife part. Another knife in here, and I don't know which way the knives are supposed to go. Normally, I would put my knife this way, so hopefully that's the way they're supposed to go. I'll turn this one back. Kind of like a K-bar type knife. Okay. All right. So that is the guy Exterminator. He's basically the Red Laser, but he does have different equipment. All right. Again, impressive figure, except for this paint stuff. That is a problem that is not going away anytime soon. So, by the way, it feels like his legs kind of settled. So I'm going to check his height one more time. He might have been slightly stretched out before. If his legs are out. Oh, it's about the same. Yeah, 6.5 inches, so it's the same. Okay, thanks guys. We'll see you in the next video. F-Ice, and see you later. Bye for now. No more Iran war.